Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE SmackDown Live episode 1032 and 205 Live episode 131, both broadcast on Tuesday, May 28th, 2019. We're coming up on we're coming up on June. Wow, it's already here. In June 1st, we have the Takeover 25. Nothing on these two episodes plays into that at all, but it is mentioned a few times. It's especially on 205 Live, talking about Oni Lorcan having his opportunity along with Danny Burch for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I'm pretty excited for that match. But I'll talk about that more in this week's NXT episode. But all of that aside, I did enjoy this episode of SmackDown quite a bit more than last night's episode of Raw. There's a lot of wrestling. I appreciated that they didn't actually start the match in the first 10 minutes, but they had the intent of starting the match. The opening match of Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. So I enjoyed that. Kofi won that match, and so he will continue onward towards defending his championship against Dolph Ziggler at Super Showdown. There's a lot of details I may have missed of like aftermath of stuff, aftermath of events. I didn't take any notes on their actual promos before this match, but at one point. Who was it? It was either Tom or Byron. They're like, can we just get to this match already? And that's exactly what I was thinking also. But yeah. Wrestling within the first 12 minutes. The match started at like minute 11, something like that. But yeah, anyway, up next we had Heavy Machinery challenge Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. So this caught me a little bit by surprise. I wasn't expecting to see tag team champions on screen yet until after Super Showdown. But here we are. They accept the challenge, but not here in this fracking state. Daniel Bryan got a whole promo about the what is it, pneumatic fracturing? What is the it's called fracking for short. Like why would you have a fun name for something that's ruining everything? Anyway, so we will get that match sometime later on. I'm guessing it's going to be after Super Showdown, but maybe it'll be in California. That's, one of the most. There is a lot of stuff going on with the environment, but I'd say California is one of the top states to be putting forward initiatives towards like solar energy, stuff like that. But also it's a huge problem that all the water is being used for like pistachios and stuff that are not the most useful, like the amount of water. Okay, there's a documentary about this that I watched a while back. I forget the name. I think it's on Netflix. It's something about water, but they were talking about how so much water is used to grow stuff like pistachios and almonds or whatever, like different types of nuts that are high price. They fetch a high price. They use a ton of water, whereas just a fraction of that water could grow much more useful crops. But they're crops that don't yield as much profit, so they don't focus on that. And that's that really sucks because all that water is just being used up for these premium products instead of something more useful, like I don't know, like wheat and stuff like that. Not just wheat. Wheat is like the most boring of the more useful things that you could grow there. But anyway, go check that out if you're interested. Search for, I guess I could actually look it up real quick. Okay, the documentary that I'm remembering specifically is Water and Power, a California heist. So it's about both of those things I was talking about, like solar power and all that kind of thing. And then we also have, ooh, this looks interesting. Cowspiracy. You learn how factory farming is decimating the planet's natural resources. That looks really interesting. There's a documentary series from 2007 on here that I didn't know about, but it looks really interesting as well, called The Future of Water. It's a 3-part series there. And then there's also an episode of Explained on Netflix. I'm sure there's a bunch more like on Hulu and Amazon and stuff, but I think most people have Netflix these days. But the second episode of season 1 is called The World's Water Crisis. So that it has a larger scope than that a California heist documentary. But anyway, sidetracked by Daniel Bryan's environmental messages there. But that's probably like the most important thing from these whole two episodes of things. Up next, we had Carmella versus Mandy Rose. I was wondering where was R-Truth during all of this, but it's probably a good thing he wasn't out there, since the last time he was out there accompanying Carmella for a match, he got chased off, and it ended the match. I think it with some type of disqualification or some such. But Mandy is on the cover of Hers magazine, and I would call her victory a magazine roll-up. Of like a rolled up yeah, it's stupid. I wrote it down. I thought it would be clever. It's not. That's pretty dumb. But Sonya Deville kept on distracting Carmella with that magazine. Like, are you on a cover magazine? We didn't think so. That kind of thing. Backstage, Truth fights off Jinder, and then he hides in a photo booth, which works. Everybody goes running past the photo booth, and I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the actual photos. Maybe they post those online. Oh, I should look. The photos that were taken while he was in the photo booth. Or I was also maybe expecting somebody to see the photos sticking out and see that R-Truth was in there. But I have a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it's still pretty fun. As he is escaping, he knocks down Drake Maverick, who keeps missing by just that much. Aleister Black, a video promo from him. He starts going into his whole spiel, but then he just says, "So I want to fight somebody. Somebody challenged me already." Then we had Shane come out with Elias and Drew. He said this was Appreciation Night, Shane McMahon Appreciation Night, as they were trying to celebrate Shane McMahon. Truth comes out being chased by everybody. Drake Maverick tries to attack him and get that championship, but Truth pins Drake Maverick. And this, I believe, okay, this is a question I have about the 24/7 title. It's never going to be answered, but I think maybe we can form our own answers about it. What constitutes a match for the 24/7 championship? Because there is never a bell to ring at the start of the match. So I believe that the match all the time in between successful pinfalls is considered one match. So if this is the first time, so Truth pinned Drake to successfully defend against Drake Maverick, but Drake Maverick could have went for a pin right after that, and that would have been a whole new match that was only a few seconds long, something like that. So if that was the first successful pinfall since R-Truth pinned Robert Roode last Monday, then that would be that's like almost an 8-day long match, and that's pretty impressive, I think. But he may have had other times that he pinned somebody else. But Shane is not amused, is quite angry, and he sicks his his henchmen upon R-Truth. Elias and Drew beat him down, and Elias pins R-Truth to win the 24/7 championship. Let's see. So then we move on to Lacey Evans versus Bayley. Charlotte is on commentary, and Bayley won after a roll-up after Charlotte inadvertently distracted Lacey from her goal, and this resulted in Lacey attacking Charlotte and Charlotte delivering a big boot to Lacey. So it looked very briefly on this night like Lacey and Charlotte were going to be very good friends. They even talked about forming a tag team so that Charlotte could also win the tag team championships. But there you go. That moves forward the animosity between all three of these people. Then we have R-Truth and Roman Reigns. As a result of this whole 24/7 thing, Shane put together a match and also suspended the activity, suspended the 24/7 championships active status until after this tag team match. R-Truth and Roman Reigns versus Elias and Drew McIntyre. They attack R-Truth as he's coming out so that it would effectively be a 2-on-1 match against Roman. But Roman is able to attack, overcome, and he pins Elias after dodging a Claymore by Drew outside of the ring. And he just ends up... The Claymore is one of those moves that's super satisfying, maybe even more satisfying when it misses, because he just lands on that table, the announcer's table. So Roman wins the match, and then he spears Elias again afterwards and urges Truth to go over and pin him. And Truth does exactly that. He is once again the 24/7 champion. And lots of great stuff from him and Drake Maverick online that I really enjoyed. Particularly, it turns out that R-Truth has signed at least one of the flyers that Drake Maverick made. So that I thought that was really funny. On the flyer, he said, "This is not me," and then he signs it. But what was the one thing? R-Truth posts a picture, or he's right behind Drake Maverick, who's like eating at a bar or something. And he says, "It's like, I'm right behind you." And then Drake replies like, "Oh my God, you pile of garbage," or something like that. It was really good. And the action did continue into 205 Live. When Drake Maverick was being interviewed, and like within like the first 10 seconds of the interview, he's like, he sees R-Truth go by down the hallway. He says, "Hold on a minute," and then he goes chasing after him, and we don't see either of them again. As long as it's not actually affecting the match quality of 205 Live, I hope Drake Maverick never stops pursuing this championship. And then it once he does get it, the fun isn't going to end there, because then he has to avoid everybody else, just be a slippery one, getting away from everybody as best he can. So anyway, then we had 3 matches on 205 Live this week, and I absolutely recommend checking out the main event. I did not take any notes really on this except for what the matches were and who won. But we had Brian Kendrick versus Mike Kanellis, and Kanellis pulled out a win here. We had Noam Dar versus a local fella who Dar calls an Oklahoma Dafty. Actually, this does apply to NXT as well, because they talked a lot about how Dar last week on NXT UK feigned a leg, his knee was still injured, to take advantage of Mark Andrews. So I did talk about that a little bit. Let's see. Oh, he said if I've been lacking at all, it's because I've been jet lagged from flying back and forth, keeping 205 Live and NXT UK in order. All of that. That's a pretty good point. That's a long way to fly. But he only has to go out to NXT UK like once a month, right? If even that. Well, I think the tapings are about once a month. Anyway, but he might be doing stuff at the Performance Center over there, teaching everybody out there, keeping them in line, as he said. It's possible. Oh, Starcast 3 returns to Chicago. 8 p.m. Eastern. Interesting. They didn't wait very long. Like that's like 3-4. I guess that is only like 3 months away. But anyway, then we have the main event: Jack Gallagher versus Humberto Carrillo. I'm not even gonna tell you who wins this match. Just go watch it. These two are fantastic in the ring, and you should definitely check this out. This match and Cesaro versus Ricochet, and there wasn't really a standout match. There was a lot of great wrestling on SmackDown, but there wasn't like a standout match like there was. So like it kind of balances out, kind of, in a way. Like maybe if there was one match that was like amazing, then it would have been a little bit better not to have as many matches. I don't know. But that said, I'd say those two matches so far this week are the ones worth checking out. And like I said, I'm so excited for TakeOver 25. I'm not going to be able to go out there for it. It's a little bit of a bummer that it's like on its own on a weekend instead of being paired with a main roster pay-per-view. That makes those all the other TakeOver weekends a lot more possible to do. But I'm going to the other two remaining this year. They're going to be friggin' awesome. I'm sure of it at SummerSlam in Toronto and Survivor Series weekend in Chicago. But yeah, I'll talk about TakeOver 25 a whole lot more in the next episode for this week, talking about NXT and NXT UK. So I think that just about does it. I'm planning on going to see, what is the movie I'm seeing tonight? Because it's on Dolby screen just for the 10:30 show or the 10 o'clock show, something like that. I'm gonna go see Brightburn. Take advantage of my my AMC subscription. So I'm excited for that. I'll record an episode talking about that. No spoilers, but I'm pretty excited for that. And then tomorrow night, this weekend, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I am super excited for that too. I'm seeing that late tomorrow night. So stay tuned for episodes about that, episode about NXT. Tonight is the next episode or episodes. I haven't checked if it's 2 episodes or not, of The Amazing Race. And there's some, and Doom Patrol. I still haven't watched the finale for Doom Patrol. So stay tuned for all of that. All within the next like 48 hours or so. Lots of podcast episodes coming up to make up for the all the days I didn't post anything while I was in the that Las Vegas place. So let me know what you thought about SmackDown and 205 Live by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. And I'll be back real soon with the next episode of TIW Podcast. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses. And I'll see you next time. Bye.